Believe it or not, there were some highly ranked college football teams that handled their business over the weekend, like Ohio State, blowing out Iowa 35-7 on CBS. Their first 5 wins of the year, all by 25-plus. First time they've done that in program history. They are rolling teams, and they are the favorites to win the national championship at plus 290. Then you have Texas and Georgia at plus 450, with Alabama coming off that loss to Vanderbilt at plus 650. Ohio State and Oregon play this weekend. Let's get Tom Fornelli in here to project forward to the first 12-team playoff, and we're just about 4 weeks away from the first CFP rankings. Tom, as you see it right now, who are your top 4 teams from the conference champions who will get those 4 byes this year?
Yeah, I think, if you look at the 4 big conferences right now, I feel like 3 of them are kind of trending in one obvious direction. And then there's the Big 12, in which you just kind of flip a coin. You'll see who ends up winning it. But in the Big 10, based on what I've seen so far, you mentioned it, Ohio State rolled Iowa this weekend. And every single week they've come out, they have just looked vastly superior to their competition. And compared to how other teams have been struggling a bit in that league, I think Ohio State's your clear favorite to win the Big 10. Texas, I think, they've already got that big win over Michigan. Alabama has lost. Georgia has lost. Tennessee has lost. Ole Miss has lost. So they've got a heck of a leg up just to make sure they get to Atlanta for the SEC championship. So I project them to win the SEC right now. In the ACC, Miami seems like the only good team. So pretty easy pick out of those ones. And then in the Big 12 for now, I'll just go with Kansas State. But again, that league, week to week, you have absolutely no idea what's going to happen. I just think that right now, based on where I pictured them before the season and how they looked the last time out, the Wildcats are looking pretty strong.
They are the second betting favorite behind only the Iowa State Cyclones, who will get Kansas State at home in the final game of the regular season. Group of 5 top-ranked champion. And this one appears to be trending toward one particular team as well in Boise State, with SMU kind of on the periphery. Do you think SMU, and I know you're going with Boise here, can SMU, if they win out, can they chase them because they are in what is thought of as a better conference with bigger wins already?
Well, SMU's in the ACC now, Chris, so they're not in the
Doesn't
group
even
of
matter
5
anymore, right?
No, but I do think that if you just look at the group of 5 in general, like Boise State and UNLV, to me, are the 2 best teams at that level. Both are in the same conference, and it's really going to come down to, in all likelihood, who ends up winning the Mountain West, whether it's the Rebels or the Broncos. And I like the Broncos a lot. I know if you look at the American, we're all really enjoying Army and Navy being undefeated, and I think that they are both genuinely good football teams. But it's hard for me to picture option teams running the table and going undefeated all season long. And none of them have the star power that Boise State currently has in Ashton Jeanty, who is the favorite right now, according to the odds, to win the Heisman. So if you think of all that he's overcoming simply by A, being a running back, and B, by doing it at Boise State, for him to be there in the Heisman odds tells you how superb he has been playing and how good that team is. Because if you look at the rest of the schedule, again, outside of UNLV, I don't see another team in that league that's even capable of hanging with Boise State. So I think they've got a good shot to get that auto bid.
UNLV coming off their first loss of the season, heartbreaking fashion against Syracuse. All right, as we try to fill out this, pretend bracket at this point in the season, we're kind of 5-6 games in, halfway through the regular season. Your first 4 out includes a team that's been in the top 10 most of the season, a team that bounced back this week with a victory. Why not Ole Miss?
I just think if you look at the SEC, it's a tough league at the top because there are so many competitive teams and teams that are going to be playoff contenders, and somebody's going to have to get left out. I look at Ole Miss. If there are a bunch of teams in there that are 10-2 or 9-3 who are fighting for those at-large spots, Ole Miss's schedule, we talked about it as being a plus for the Rebels going into the season and that they should win most of the games on it. But after you lose to Kentucky, what's your best win going to be when it comes to comparing resumes? So I think when they get compared to other teams based on how I see things being played out, they're going to be the ones left on the outside looking in.
All right, let's play out the bracket then, and we'll have the matchups for you, Tom. And again, we're still a long ways off. The bracket's going to go off playoff rankings. They won't be available to us for another 4 weeks. But let's start top left. You've got Notre Dame making it as not an ACC team, but an independent going to Eugene to take on Oregon. Play it out for us.
I have to tell you, it was so painful for me to put Notre Dame into this projection because I'm well on the record of saying that if you lose to Northern Illinois at home, you should no longer even be considered for the college football playoff. But this is the situation we live in our expanded playoff, and I think that, justice will be served. The Oregon Ducks will knock the Fighting Irish out in this first game.
Oh,
and then
no, but you've got Alabama going back to the state of Tennessee.
Yeah, and losing twice. I think they're going to lose there in the regular season. I think they're going to head back there in the first round, and I think they're going to get knocked down. You just saw it this weekend against Vandy. The offense is incredible. The defense, kind of sketchy, and I think that they will have problems with this Vols offense. Meanwhile, that Tennessee defense is very good, so I think that that's the one deciding factor between these two teams.
Then you've got Genty, who might end up winning the Heisman Trophy, going up against Georgia. How do you think he fares?
It's going to be a long day, Ashton. They're going to be, there are very few defenses in the country, I think, capable of slowing him down. Georgia is one of them, and outside of Genty, I just don't know if Boise has the horses or the Broncos to really compete with the Dogs.
You do have Clemson making it as an at-large team and getting to host Penn State. That would be an interesting playoff game.
Yeah, and this is the one upset I have in our first round. I think Penn State goes into Death Valley and picks up the win. And what I actually think, just based on the matchup, would probably be the most entertaining game of the first round.
Okay, so here's the quarterfinals. Again, only the first round on campus. These are bowl games now. And we'll go to the top. Miami, your ACC champion against Oregon.
Yeah, Mario Cristobal revenge game. Yeah. He was the head coach at Oregon. Couldn't break through, get to the playoff. He gets there with Miami, gets the first round bye, and then takes the Ducks out. I just look at this as a battle of the quarterbacks. They both have flaws, but I have far more faith in Cam Ward right now than I do Dylan Gabriel, and I think he proves to be the difference here. And
then which shade of orange do you like? You like Tennessee orange or burnt orange from Texas?
I like the brighter shade better, but as far as football teams are concerned, I think I have to go with the burnt one here because this is a Texas team that I think has proven it could be one of the best teams in the country. I don't know if there are any elite teams out there, but Texas might be, and I think they win that game.
And this is where some people might be saying it would be better off potentially being a 5 seed than it would be maybe even getting a bye, with Georgia getting to play Kansas State.
Yeah, and Georgia will be getting right past Kansas State because we saw, Avery Johnson is a talented player. We saw him on the road, though, in a tough environment against BYU, make a lot of mistakes. And Georgia is the kind of team, if you make any kind of mistakes against, they will snowball things quickly. And I just don't think Kansas State can compete with the Dogs for 60 minutes. So it's tough to get that, not get the first round bye, but you're right. In this case, being the number 5, not so bad for Georgia.
Who knows how things play out, but we could see Ohio State, Penn State, or any other matchups like that 3 times this season if you count regular season, conference championship game, and playoffs. You got Ohio State moving on, and you've got your semifinals here. Tom Fornelli has the Buckeyes taking on the Dogs in the bottom half, and on the top, how about that? Miami against Texas. Who do you like?
I like Texas. Again, this is like it was in the last round. If it comes down to a battle of quarterbacks, assuming Quinn Ewers is healthy, I like Quinn Ewers more than I like Cam Ward because while Cam Ward has the ability to make spectacular plays, he also makes more boneheaded decisions than Quinn Ewers does. He tends to be to make smart decisions, make good throws. And I just think also Texas's defense, I put them ahead of the Canes, and I think that they would end up winning that game.
How about Ohio State and Georgia?
Give me the Buckeyes. I mentioned it. I think the one thing about the 12-team playoff this year is I don't know that we have an elite team in the country, but if there are 2 candidates who have yet to prove that they aren't elite, it's Texas and Ohio State. So it makes sense to me that in this format, they would be the 2 to play each other in the title game.
How would you see that national championship game playing out? 1 versus 2 in your bracket.
It would be an excellent game, and I would really look forward to watching it and seeing it happen. But I just think on both sides of the ball, and then you put on special teams, Ohio State is more talented. I think they are the best team in the country. When you try to break them down, there really isn't a glaring weakness. I think that the biggest question mark that they have is Will Howard at quarterback, and he's playing spectacular. He's getting the ball into the hands of his weapons around him, and they are all tremendous weapons. And then on the defensive side of the ball, when you're an offensive coordinator, you try to spot the duck, the one guy that you can go after and just abuse for 60 minutes to win games. there is no Duck on the Ohio State defense. If that unit is fully healthy, there really is no clear path to success as an offense. So I just think that in that matchup, Ohio State is slightly better. I would give them the advantage, and they are our imaginary national champions for 2024.
They will be facing the Ducks this upcoming weekend. The Oregon Ducks hosting Ohio State, and the Buckeyes road favorites there in their first real test of the season. Tom Fornelli and the Cover 3 crew. Latest episode today, talking just crazy fallout from this past weekend in college football. Miami's ceiling after yet another bizarre down-to-the-wire finish, and that Vanderbilt upset over Alabama.